Hello, today I'll be teaching you how to make stuffed shells. You'll need a boiling pot, a large bowl for mixing, 4 cups of mozzarella cheese, a box of jumbo stuffed shells, a 45-ounce container or 2 pounds of Ragu traditional sauce, parsley, .32 ounces of ricotta cheese, a strainer, a square cooking pan, salt, a spoon, olive oil. Let's begin. So first, fill the boiling pot 3/4 of the way with as hot of water as you can get. This should diminish the amount of time it'll take for the water to actually begin to boil. If you're a writer, every second is going to count, so you can get back to working on that book. Once you're done, put the strainer in the sink and get it ready for after you're done boiling the noodles. Turn it to high and wait for the water to begin boiling. But first, add in 3 circles of olive oil. This will help your noodles not stick together, as well as adding in some salt to the water. Now, I like to use 25 shakes of salt. I make sure that I space it out all over so that it gets into the water very well. Once you're done, just wait for the water to boil. Use this opportunity to get everything else ready if you like. Now, while I waited for the water to boil, I was trying to get some cleaning done. Now, after several minutes, your water should begin to get a nice, even, bubbling boil, and you'll be ready to add in the noodles. Dump your box into the water, then keep an eye on it as the water boils. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Make sure that you stir the contents of the pot every once in a while, very carefully. These shells can rip if you stir too harshly with it, so use a flat or rounded, soft-edged cooking utensil to mix it up. I also recommend a non-stick boiling pot. If you've had issues with pasta that sticks to the bottom of your pan, you may want to stir lightly and slowly on constant basis. Luckily, I have a non-stick boiling pot, so I can actually walk away for a second here and there, even a few minutes, come back and not have much issue with them sticking to the bottom. But you still do need to come over and stir it every once in a while. Now, as we get near the end of the boiling process for the pasta, you should probably turn the water on in the sink to cold. Because the next step, after we take it out of the pot, is we're going to need to cool the noodles back down. This will make sense, trust me. While I have a minute here, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know as a single father and as a writer, my life is very busy, and cooking for me and my daughter can be something tedious at times. So, for anyone out there who might be having issues, hopefully these recipes that I will be posting will be something that can help you. These are quick and easy dinners to pretty much make that can last for quite a while. You should have leftovers that'll be just as good the next day. Even if you're not, if you are a stay-at-home parent or an unemployed parent, these are great meals for the family. You should not have to turn the heat down at all during this 15 minutes of boiling. Just keep a good eye on it. Make sure it doesn't overflow. Alright, so we should just about be done with the boiling process. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over, give it one final stir on the last few seconds. Make sure to turn the burner and timer off. Then we're going to put it in the strainer. Like I said, if you already have the cold water running, then it's probably better. Or if you don't, just keep making sure you turn and get that cold water all over the noodles. This is going to make the next process a lot easier. Make sure to get it all over. Maybe give the strainer a shake if you're concerned about reaching the ones on the bottom, or just go a little extra like I do. There's really no mistakes at this point in it, just trying to cool them down. Don't want to shake them too hard because you don't want to rip the noodles. Now, I highly suggest you use this chance while the noodles are cooling down to wash your hands. This is going to be important if you are concerned about touching the food, because the next process is very hands-on. And now to a commercial break. Hello. As I've said, I am an author. My book series, The Guardian of Light, is an epic modern-day fantasy when a prison in the South Pole is attacked by mercenaries. Several historical villains are set free and loose upon the world. One of these villains makes his way to the North Pole and kills the current Guardian of Light, or as the world knows him, Santa Claus. Now the governors of the North Pole must find and recruit a new guardian before the world is destroyed. Currently, books 1, 2, and 3 of this epic series is out and available on Amazon right now. Book 4 will be coming out in November. At the beginning of October, I will be revealing the final book cover for Book 4 of The Guardian of Light, as well as the book's release date. This series makes an excellent gift. So if you enjoyed this video today, I really hope you'll take the time and order your own copy of this series and give it a read. Now, let's get back to the video. So, after you're done washing and drying your hands off, it'll be time to check the noodles. They should be nice and cooled down by this point. After you make sure that they are, make sure to preheat your oven to 400. Now, remember the rest of the ingredients? Here's what we're going to do. So you move the noodles off to the side, as well as the sauce. You don't need the pan quite this moment, so we'll put that to the side as well. We're going to need the parsley, the ricotta, and the mozzarella. Now we're going to open this up. Get the mozzarella open. Set it off to the side. Take off the clear plastic. Dump it in the bowl. Make sure to scoop out any left over while you try not to get it all over yourself. This part can tend to get a little messy. Now we add in all of the mozzarella cheese. Make sure to spread it around real good. Now we're going to open up the top to the parsley, and we're going to put in a generous amount of parsley all over. If you're not comfortable with putting that much, you can always put a little less, but try to generally get a good amount in there. Now, simply stir it all up. Go slow and steady with it so it doesn't make the cheese and parsley fly all over the place. And just keep giving it a good stir. You do not want to end up with a whole bunch of parsley in one section of the cheese. That would not be appetizing. Now, after we've given it a really, really good stir, we can start mixing it a little harder. Now this is very dry. It should, be a little clumpy, like that. And we're about ready to move on to the next section. So now, before we move on, as an easy cleanup option, you can put all your trash into the ricotta container. Now we take our pan, shake up the ragu sauce, give it a nice long good shake, open it up. Then we're going to layer the bottom of the pan with a nice thick layer of tomato sauce. Then gently move it around to even out that layer so you got a nice thick coat at the bottom. Bring the noodles closer. Situate everything as best as you can. Simply take each noodle as well as a large spoonful of cheese, and fill each one. Make sure you'll have to press it in there. This is why I told you wash your hands, because this is going to be very hands-on. And you're just going to keep doing that until you fill the pan. Now, while we watch me fill the pan with each shell, I want to add an additional note that if you're watching this and you are a parent and you have children or might be planning to have children one day, then there is something else I would suggest my book series for. I answer a lot of questions regarding the main character that might help you out in the future. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, you don't have to make each shell perfect. You can have a little cheese sticking out here and there. Remember, it's filled with mozzarella, and the mozzarella is going to melt down. But for the record, my book series is written for teens and adults. There is a lot of blood and violence. It is a fantasy story after all, and it's not meant for children. But if you enjoy a really good fantasy story, definitely give it a chance. Alright, we are halfway there. Now, it will take some time. This is probably one of the longer processes of making stuffed shells, having to fill each shell. But the reward at the end is so worth it. And like I said, this is pretty easy and simple to cook. A little time consuming, yes, but if you focus on it and get it done, it shouldn't take too long. And you could probably trick some people into thinking you spent hours putting this together. Now this can feed about an average family of 4. maybe even 5. And you may still have leftovers. So I was feeding 4 people tonight with this, and this is just this one pan. There usually is a little left over when I make it of noodles and ricotta, so you could actually probably squeeze like a pan and a half. So if you have a half-size pan, you could probably make some more. Depends on how many noodles you can successfully cook without breaking. Part of that also requires that the store does not give you a box full of broken shells. Now, as we finish off here, we're going to squeeze those last noodles in to make all the lines pretty much even. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the remaining sauce and we're going to just put a thin line all the way down each row. Nice, straight, even line. And we're done. Now it's time to put it in the oven. Like I said, you want to make sure your oven is preheated at 400. Place in the center. Do not need a cover. And cook it for about 20 minutes. And I also picked up these garlic knots. They cook for 5 minutes. So once the 20 minutes is done, we're going to give it an additional 5. And we're going to turn it down just a tad because these garlic knots cook at 350. And after they're done, we're going to take out the stuffed shells. I like to give the garlic knots a little extra time. Make sure to turn your timer and your oven off. This way the knots won't burn, but they'll still stay warm. And look at that. Now we will take out the knots. Now if you're serving at a family dinner, you can put the garlic knots into a bowl. I have a nice wooden bread bowl that I like to put my bread products in, so I can put it in the center of the dinner table. And there you go. Stuffed shells with garlic knots. I want to thank you all for watching this cooking video. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can also check me out on Facebook. And if you'd like, you can also subscribe to my channel, where I will have more cooking videos in the future, and I have plenty of other content to check out. I want to thank everyone for watching, and happy writing.